You know, my father always used to tell me, I had a wonderful father, very smart, and he used to say, son, when you walk into a restaurant and you see a dirty front door, don't go in, because if the front door is dirty, the kitchen's dirty also. Same thing with the Capitol. If our Capitol's dirty, our whole country is dirty. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our Capitol back. We're taking it back.
After President Trump's announcement, there has been a lot of pushback from those that enjoy living in hell.
When we add the presence of federal agents or the National Guard to daily life in these neighborhoods, the burden can multiply.
And those that have a vested interest in continuing their stranglehold over the minds of its minions.
The most violent moment in recent history in D.C. was January 6th.
And a relatively small crime problem is being used for specific authoritarian purposes that we know and understand.
If people are afraid to come to D.C., go to Disney World, get fat, eat French fries. I don't care. I've lived here 37 years. I am not afraid. I live in the city. I'm not afraid of this city. If you're afraid, go ahead. Leave your fear someplace else.
They seem to hold their harshest criticism sometimes for cities that are majority black and brown.
Focus those cameras on everything that's going on, because this president is trying to lead us into what could be called a civil war.
President Trump doesn't like public safety. He's a convicted criminal himself. He pardons people who are criminals and do pretty dastardly things, like cause the deaths of 5 different law enforcement officers during January 6th.
But what is the reality on the ground in the District of Criminals?
I came all the way down Pennsylvania Avenue this morning. So peaceful, yeah. I don't smell no weed, yeah. I don't see no homeless people.
A person like me at this age, I has to make sure to come home before sundown.
President Trump knows what's going on. The crime is exploded here. A lot of you know about it.
Since the 1950s, Washington, D.C.'s crime rate has been a roller coaster ride. It all really began to go downhill following the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr.
Good evening. Dr. Martin Luther King, the apostle of nonviolence in the civil rights movement, has been shot to death in Memphis, Tennessee,
which led to riots and widespread property damage.
Dr. King got killed in April and looked like all hell broke loose.
By the 1980s, the crack cocaine epidemic fueled an unprecedented spike in violent crime, with the murder rate peaking in 1991 at 479 homicides.
Crime got so bad, we were losing like 400 or 500 a year, and like 2 a night were being murdered.
Earning D.C. the infamous title of the murder capital of the United States.
We were all wondering who would be next.
The victims were shot at random in parking lots, going to school, mowing the lawn, gripping the Washington area in fear in the fall of 2002. During 3 terrifying weeks, 10 people were killed. 3 more were wounded, including a 13-year-old boy. The snipers turned out to be John Allen Muhammad, a mentally disturbed man who planned to kill his ex-wife and wanted it to look like she was another random victim. He was executed 7 years later.
D.C. eventually reached a homicide rate of 80.6 per 100,000 people at its height. Homicides dropped to a low of 104 in 2012. However, post-2020, crime surged again.
There are dozens of unsolved violent carjackings that have happened in the district, and we've heard that detectives now are not really staffed up enough to actually help out with thorough investigations.
430 fewer officers now than we did in 2019, and likely the lowest number of officers since at least the 1970s.
Homicides increased by 35% in 2023, and carjackings doubled. Reduced police funding and Soros revolving door prosecutors lit the fire. Now only 24% of Washington, D.C. residents feel safe, compared to 40% a decade earlier. It doesn't have to be like this. We don't have to live this way. John Bound reporting for InfoWars.